Hello and welcome to my Smiths video. Today I thought I'd go through the Smiths because that's a good place for me to start. All these were bought 2012, 2013. I don't believe that any of these are reissues. I think they're all UK with Louder Than Bombs being US. I think they're all original pressings from the 80s. I'm not sure. Anyway, let's start. It all kicked off with this song, This Charming Man. Most people who maybe only know a little bit about Smiths know this song. So this is the 12-inch single of This Charming Man, backed with Accept Yourself and Wonderful Woman. I know Accept Yourself is very popular among hardcore Smiths fans. And yeah, this is what's kicked it all off, Charming Man. So then they put out their first album, and they went through many different iterations of this because of trouble with recording, and eventually Morrissey was still not happy with how this sounds, and there they are. Morrissey on vocals, Johnny Marr on guitar, Andy Rourke on bass, and Mike Joyce on drums. Still Ill is probably one of my favourite songs. There was a lot of controversy at the time with Suffer Little Children about the Morse murders that happened in Manchester, and they affected Morrissey because he felt like he could have been one of the kids. So yeah, that's a sensitive subject for your first album. I think that was the first song that he wrote lyrics to with Johnny Marr, just them two together. Then we've got like a collection of B-sides. This is quite a popular place for any new Smiths fan to start, Hatful of Hollow. This collects the singles at the time from 1984 and a lot of the B-sides. Please, Please Let Me Get What I Want. That's a popular song these days, with it being on adverts and stuff. How Soon Is Now, that's been on TV theme songs. There's the gatefold. So yeah, this is a good place to start if you're new. Then I've got a 12-inch single for That Joke Isn't Funny Anymore, which it's very sensitive. It's about being sensitive and lonely, and just quite a popular topic in Morrissey's lyrics at the time. I just might die with a smile on my face after all. This is backed with, this is probably the reason why I got this, it's backed with some live songs. Stretch Out and Wait, that's a good one. Quite a happy one as well. See, there are happy songs in the Smiths catalogue. You just have to listen. Next up, 1985, the album which that single is from, Meat is Murder. I tried vegetarianism for nearly 3 or 4 years. Possibly influenced by the Smiths a little bit. Sadly, this one has got some damage to the bottom there. I don't know what that was. I think I bought it like that. And I Want the One I Can't Have is a good song. When I saw Morrissey live, he played What She Said, and then it segued into Rubber Ring, which was a nice way to finish a concert, I guess. This is quite an accessible one for people to start with. Although it ends kind of on a downer, it's got a lot of strong, upbeat tracks like Nowhere Fast and the Headmaster Ritual, which is about abuse back in the days of schools. Now this is my favourite because it's where I started. The Queen is Dead. And there they are with lyrics, and outside this is an iconic photo. I have a photo with myself standing outside the club, which I might insert here in the video. There Is a Light That Never Goes Out, essential love song, however you interpret it. I Know It's Over, Essential Lonely Song, Empty Bed, Going to Sleep, The Queen is Dead, very political. Morrissey didn't see the point in the royal family, and he still doesn't with his latest album and that album cover, if you know that. Alright, I think this is a US pressing because it was only released in the US. This is quite a favourite for most people. It's got many of the singles, quite like Hatful of Hollow, but with extra B-sides and the singles that were out at the time, like Shoplifters of the World Unite and Sheila Take a Bow. I think that was a single as well. Cover star is Sheena Delaney, who's a Manchester poet and playwright. She wrote A Taste of Honey, which was one of Morrissey's favourite films, and a play in which he borrowed a lot of lyrics from. Has Sleep on it, which is been featured in films and stuff. That's quite a lonely song. So yeah, Louder Than Bombs. In the UK, instead of Louder Than Bombs, we got The World Won't Listen, which is like a condensed version of Louder Than Bombs. This back cover is quite amusing because the photo is these girls at a fairground and they look like members of the band: Morrissey, Johnny Marr, Andy Rourke and Mike Joyce. This features a lot of the songs. In fact, all these songs are on Louder Than Bombs, with I think 2 songs, I think The Boy With a Thorn in His Side and That Joke Isn't Funny More, being single edits, and this is just one for people who collect them all, I guess, nowadays, because I'm sure that Louder Than Bombs has been reissued in the UK. I imagine there was controversy at the time because people will have already bought a lot of those songs. Loads of Smith singles were released at the time, and they maybe felt like they were getting ripped off a bit, I don't know. And there's a song on the last album which was released just after the Smiths broke up, Strangeways, Here We Come. Strangeways being a Manchester prison. Someone stole that sign not long after this album was released. Song on here called Paint a Vulgar Picture, which is about record labels and all the trouble they go through, or whatever, how record labels exploit people, exploit the performers, and there's a line in it saying reissue, repackage, buy both and be deceived, basically, which I think is a reference to all the reissues, not reissues, but the albums that have the same songs on. This features Girlfriend in a Coma, which is a top single. Stop Me If You Think You've Heard This One Before, I Won't Share You. It's quite a scary, eerie song, but also quite nice at the same time. Yeah, the band consider this their best album, or that it's their favourite. Last Night I Dreamt That Somebody Loved Me is a dramatic piece of music with a big piano intro and just songs that could be about your life. I think that's what the Smiths can do. They can make music that I think that's what the Smiths did. They made music that was so easily to be relatable that it could be about ordinary lives and ordinary people. Last thing I've got is Girlfriend in a Coma single, because the last 2 songs, one, Work Is a 4-letter word, is a Cilla Black song cover, which is probably bizarre and alienated the band at the time, probably Morrissey's decision. And I Keep Mine Hidden. These were from the very last recording session they did, and then they broke up in a chip shop in England, and that was the Smiths. Most people know that Morrissey went on to do great solo work. Seen Morrissey live 4 times: Leeds, Birmingham, Hull, Manchester. I'm going to see him next month in Leeds again, February 24th, I think. Also, last year there was a deluxe edition of, I don't know if you can see that because of the glare, deluxe edition of The Queen is Dead, with remastered and loads of demos and a live album on the audio. No video content to this, sadly. Excellent packaging though, and art. They used quite excellent iconic artwork for the gatefold. Sadly though, the Salford Lads Club picture is missing from this collection, but that's from the London riots. Big burn mill. And this lady's wearing a Smith t-shirt against depression. Of course, here we go. And this is the additional recordings, gatefold, tattoo, there is a light that never goes out. And a live album, picture of Jack Kerouac. I'm not sure why, but Morrissey must have liked him, liked his photo at least. And there's one again of him and William Burroughs, American beat writers. Yeah, the live album. I think the live album's very good. I think it's better than the official live album that I've forgotten to show you. Right, this was released just after the Smiths broke up, just before Morrissey's first solo release. And it's called Rank. And it's from the Queen is Dead tour 1986. And it's not the best representation of the band's live sound, I don't think, but it has some excellent artwork and it's better than nothing for the time, I imagine. Yeah, I can't believe I forgot that. So yeah, that's my Smiths video. I could talk all day about the Smiths and Morrissey, etc. I'm hoping to do a big Morrissey video because I have all of his albums bar 2 remasters, and I don't think anyone else has shown that on the YouTube vinyl community. Thank you for watching and I'll see you in the next one.